This is the South African National Rally Championship, proudly brought to you by Dunlop, Ford Performance, Toyota and Volkswagen. As the 2016 South African National Rally Championship approaches the end of the season, the battle lines have been firmly drawn. The main characters have established their leads, while the would-be challengers are running out of time to make a championship charge. In the S2000 class, Leroy Poulter and Elvin Coetzee in the number 23 Toyota Gazoo Racing Yaris have been an unstoppable force. The pair have yet to finish off the top step of the podium, but that doesn't mean they've had things all their own way. The Secunda Rally came down to the wire, with just 0.4 of a second separating Poulter from his Toyota Gazoo Racing teammates Janelle de Villiers and Carolyn Swan. While in the VW Rally, a spin on a cliff-top road could have ended Poulter's rally in spectacular style. While Guy Bottrell, assisted by Simon Vasey-Lyle in the Yatu Tools Toyota Etios, has dominated the S1600 battle, behind him the rallying has been spectacularly close. With the drivers too closely matched to ease off the accelerator for a second, there have been frequent crashes and mechanicals in the class as drivers push beyond the limits to secure maximum points. The combination of young drivers and their gung-ho approaches to rallying has made for spectacular viewing, which augurs well for the 2017 season. Heading into the Heidelberg Rally, Bottrell led the S1600 class with 64 points, while in the S2000s, Poulter had also amassed maximum points. The southeastern Gauteng town of Heidelberg played host to the 5th round of the South African National Rally Championships. With the rally making use of all new routes, the Heidelberg Rally was a step into the unknown. The routes featured many a long, fast straight followed by sharp, tight corners, with treacherous, rocky sections lying in wait for the driver looking to push too hard. While the final preparations were underway, Guy Bottrell spoke about his goals for the Heidelberg Rally.
The main goal for this is to score as many points as we can to hopefully win the championship. So yeah, there's going to be no aerobics and just make sure we get the car to the end.
Secretary of the Heidelberg Business Chamber, Francel Schultz, set the rally off with a ceremonial start at the Heidelberg Mall before they headed out onto stage 1. Leroy Poulter stormed to victory on the opening stage, laying down a marker for his rivals. As with much of the season, the number 23 Toyota would be the car to beat. The second fastest time on the stage was set by Janelle de Villiers in the sister Toyota Works Team Yaris. De Villiers looked eager to push hard and challenge Poulter. In third was the Vector Petroleum Toyota Yaris of Ernie van der Walt. Returning to the fold in Heidelberg after missing the VW Rally was Wilro Dippenaar in the PZN Panel Beaters Ford. Dippenaar eased his Fiesta around stage 1 in the 4th fastest time. Fifth on the opening stage was the NRC4 Salom Group Toyota Auris of Etienne Joubert. The older specification vehicle competes alongside the S2000s, though it lacks the power to match them for outright speed. In the S1600 class, Asie Potgieter, driving the Leico Muzi VW Polo, continued his rich vein of form, taking the fight to Bottrell by claiming victory on stage 1. Completing the opening stage just 0.3 seconds down on Potgieter was the S1600 title-chasing Guy Bottrell in his Toyota Etios.
3, 2, 1, go! Into right 4, into left 5,
Richard Leake in the P1 Nutrition ATS Ford couldn't quite find his rhythm on the short opening stage, but his Fiesta R2 was running perfectly.
90. Repeat comfortable car finish. Bump up 90. Bump up 80. Left 6.
Behind the hard-charging youngsters, the experienced Chris Kutzer in the Electro-Thread Toyota Etios was taking a more cautious approach in fourth on the stage. Easing into the rally after a run of bad luck was Ashley Haig-Smith in the AHS Ford Fiesta, finishing fifth on the stage. Behind Haig-Smith was the Manitou VW Polo of Paulus Franken, showing just how competitive the S1600 class is, as he's usually a podium contender. Closing out the S1600 class was George Smallberger in the Shield Car Care VW Polo.
Yeah, today's first stage was, nice and short, 3K, so you had to get into it pretty quickly. A lot of rocks all over the outside, so very difficult to get through it. So it was nice and clean for us. Just kept the car on the road.
Stage one was alright. It's always a bit nerve-wracking going into the first stage of a rally. Make sure you don't make any stupid mistakes. But we got through the stage pretty clean, and we were happy with that run.
On stages 2 and 3, Leroy Poulter extended his Heidelberg Rally lead with two successive stage victories. The 9.2 and 16.1 kilometre stages suited his smooth style to a T. Chasing Poulter down with a third place on stage 2 and a second position on stage 3 was Ernie van der Walt. Rallying without pressure, the young Toyota driver was faster than ever. Janelle de Villiers was struggling with his car, however, losing time to Poulter and van der Walt with an engine management issue.
It looks like it, yeah. It's like, there's like the car doesn't want to pull it all. So I think we've got a small problem with the mapping. So it's running a bit rich at the moment. So we'll have to see if we can find it because it's definitely holding us back a little bit.
In the S1600s, Guy Bottrell claimed stage victory on stage 2 before dropping to third on stage 3, also with an engine management issue. Arce Potgieter continued his strong run, claiming 2 second places on stage 2 and 3 in his VW Polo. Richard Leake, meanwhile, used stage 2 to find his rhythm before storming into the rally lead with a victory on stage 3. Ashley Haig-Smith punctured on stage 2, losing time. After a slow start, Paulus Franken was driving himself back into podium contention, moving up to fourth after stage 3. With the sun setting and gravel night stages about to start, the support crews were hard at work in the Dunlop service zone, while the drivers reflected on the afternoon's rallying.
I put some time into Guy, but we just took a few seconds off us, I think 12 seconds. So yeah, but we'll try to push harder now and take it back.
Yeah, I'm quite happy. The car's feeling good. The team's we're quite optimistic about this rally, and at least it's flat. So yeah, we can keep pushing and carry on.
Meanwhile, the Toyota technicians were hard at work on de Villiers' car.
Well, they'll have a look on the computer to see, which areas there's a problem. I obviously tell them what's wrong, so they'll have a look in those areas, and once they find the problem, it's quick to fix.
Heading into the night stages, Poulter led the S2000 battle, while Richard Leake topped the S1600 timesheets. Rallying on gravel at night made a return at the Heidelberg Rally after a lengthy absence. Paulus Franken's co-driver Pierre Aries was one of the few drivers or navigators with night rallying experience, and he had some advice for those new to rallying off-road in the dark.
Drive as fast as you can see, and just stay calm, because it's easy to get frustrated and try too hard, and that's when you're going to make a mistake. So just drive as fast as you can see, and it's probably going to be the same for everyone except the guy who's first on the road. So just stay within yourself. I've been rallying for best part of 3 decades, and if there's one thing that I could change, it was to bring night rallying back, because it's so awesome. I love it. So I'm looking forward to the night stages.
Despite Ari's enthusiasm, the night rallying stages weren't without their hiccups. Stage 4 was called off due to delays clearing the route of spectators. And the drivers struggled with their banks of lights reflecting off thick clouds of dust. The perfectly wind-still night meant the billowing dust wasn't clearing between the cars. Stage 5 and 6 proceeded as scheduled, and the dust gap was increased to help improve the visibility on the roads. In the S2000s, Janelle de Villiers claimed victory on Stage 5, while Ernie van der Walt won Stage 6. Leroy Poulter, though, closed out the opening day on top of the timesheets with 2 second positions. In the S1600s, Richard Leek won Stage 5, while Guy Bottrell set the fastest time on Stage 6. Arce Potgieter was third on both stages. The results meant Leek led the S1600 class as day 1 drew to a close.
Yeah, no, it was quite an experience driving the night for the first time. You have to trust your navigator, but I think it was fun. I really enjoyed it.
It was the first time for me in the dark rallying, so it was trying to get used to it, and I think we just need some more time to get used to it. But it's a completely different ball game out there, and very difficult to stay away from all the rocks.
After the 6 stages, Leroy Poulter and Richard Leek led the Heidelberg Rally in the S2000 and S1600 classes respectively. Day 2 of the Heidelberg Rally started with 10 minutes in the Dunlop service zone before the drivers set out for the 11-kilometre long Stage 7. There was early drama on the day when Janelle de Villiers double punctured. Though he limped through the stage, he couldn't continue through the liaison to Stage 8 and was forced to withdraw from the rally.
Just drifted about 30 centimeters off the track, and in the grass there was obviously a big stone which we didn't see in the recce and which we didn't mark, so I got a double puncture on the left side of the car, and it broke the front rim, and then it broke the brake pipe off in the front, so we didn't have any brakes. But with a double puncture it was very difficult to continue because we only carry 1 spare, and unfortunately that's the rally for us.
Unaware of de Villiers' bad luck unfolding behind him, Leroy Poulter pushed on to claim stage victory on Stage 7. Ernie van der Walt, who'd been 3 seconds up on de Villiers overnight, pushed on, claiming second on Stage 7, looking to cement his spot on the podium. Inheriting 3rd place overall, with a 3rd on Stage 7 was Tiens Hubert. He had battled through issues on day 1 to stay in contention for this very reason. Guy Bottrell shared de Villiers' misfortune, but for his car it was an engine issue. The Toyota Etios ran smoothly in the liaison, but suddenly developed an issue in the start chute for Stage 7.
Yes, this morning we battling. The first stage this morning, as we pulled off the line, the car went into a limp mode, and then we had to turn the car off in the stage and restart it, and we lost a lot of time. And then when we did restart it, the car won't rev past 6,500. So down these long straights we're really struggling.
Capitalising on Bottrell's misfortune was Arce Potgieter. He stormed to stage victory on the first stage of day 2. In so doing, he reduced the gap to Richard Leek to just 7 seconds. The S1600 rally leader, Leek, was cautious through the tricky Stage 7.
Left 7, no cut, stay on track. Left 7, no cut, stay on track. Into left 3, cut and bump. 70, bump. 70, bump. 260, bump into danger, bump tip. Bump into danger, bump tip. Into caution, bump tip. 250, righty.
In third on stage 7 was Polis Franken, back as a Super Rally competitor, a rule allowing competitors that have fallen out to rejoin the rally with time penalties. After 7 stages, Poulter led Van der Walt in the S2000 battle, while Leek topped the S1600 times. On stages 8 and 9, Leroy Poulter and Ernie Van der Walt traded stage victories. But Leroy had too comfortable a lead to see it whittled away by one poor stage. Van der Walt would need luck to swing his way. After surging to stage victory by 10 seconds on stage 8, Van der Walt couldn't force home the advantage and lost 9 seconds to Poulter on stage 9. He was driving like a man possessed. In third on both stages, 8 and 9, was Thierry Hubert, looking for his first podium of the season. While his main rival Guy Bottrell was struggling for pace, Richard Leek put the hammer down, powering through stage 8 to claim victory and extend his lead by a further 5 seconds over Bottrell and 6 on RC Potgieter. The difficult start to the season, which Leek and co-driver Henry Kierner suffered, now appeared to be behind the pair in their Ford Fiesta. Potgieter and Du Toit in their VW Polo rallied to stage honours on stage 9, reducing the deficit to Leek ahead of him to 21 seconds. Potgieter had been running well all rally and looked set to claim another second position and more valuable championship points. Behind Potgieter and Leek, the Toyota Etios of Bottrell was still not running 100% smoothly. Though he claimed time back on Potgieter on stage 8, he lost time to both Potgieter and Leek on stage 9, drifting to 36 seconds off the rally lead. Stage 10 was the longest stage of the rally at 21 kilometres long, and Leroy Poulter used it to stretch his lead over Ernie Van der Walt by 40 seconds. Van der Walt, for his part, was driving well, enjoying the final stages of the rally but not taking unnecessary risks in the pursuit of Poulter. The third-placed S2000 on the stage was the Toyota of Thierry Hubert. He's only attended the rallies in and around Gauteng this season, but when he was in attendance, he usually scored championship points. On stage 10, RC Potgieter had one of the rally's spectacular moments when his wheels caught in a rut. The car's momentum tipped it over, ending his podium aspirations.
Yeah, yes, I was pushed quite hard. The previous stage, stage 9, I win, and then I pushed stage 10 quite hard. And then, yeah, it was a right 9 and just the car just sticked and it rolled. Yeah, at one time, but we're gonna go ahead and see what happens. Got it back in the wheels, it take a while. We must look if there was some oil in and water, and we checked everything. I think we lost some 3 minutes or what, but we're back and we'll go again.
Potgieter finished the stage in his battered car, and though he lost out in the race for a podium, his team kept him in the rally, fixing the VW Polo in double quick time. Leroy Poulter extended his lead over Ernie Van der Walt with a 14-second stage victory on stage 11, before losing time on stage 12 by overshooting a corner. While Poulter's lead was up to 1 minute and 17 seconds, victory was far from assured, so Van der Walt had to keep the pressure on as best he could. As Thierry Hubert had shown earlier in the Heidelberg Rally, it's often the driver who can best avoid serious incident who picks up the championship points. In the S1600 class, Guy Bottrell stormed to 2 spectacular stage victories. Coming from 14 seconds behind after stage 10, by the end of stage 12, Bottrell had the lead by 0.3 of a second over Richard Leek. With 2 stages left in the Heidelberg Rally, could Leek turn the tide and put a stop to Bottrell's seemingly inexorable charge? Behind the victory-chasing Leek and Bottrell, Chris Kutzer had inherited third after Aser Potgieter's crash. Kutzer is a consistent campaigner who rarely makes a serious error. With Poulter comfortably leading the S2000s, the real battle is between Bottrell and Leek in the S1600 class.
Yes, it's very close. Richard and I think it's under 1 second, the gap between us. So yeah, it's all down to these last 2 stages. And we seem to be going pretty good now. We sorted out our earlier problems from yesterday and this morning. So yeah, we got our ears down and having a full go.
The 13th stage proved an unlucky one for Guy Bottrell, however. His engine gremlins returned on the start line, leaving him underpowered and allowing Richard Leek to seize the Heidelberg Rally lead by 10 seconds. After the bad luck Leek had suffered earlier in the season, he was surely owed a moment or two of good fortune. With his car fully repaired, Aser Potgieter was back in the thick of action, claiming third place on stage 13 in the S1600 class. Heading into the second last stage of the Heidelberg Rally, all Leroy Poulter had to do was avoid the rocks, and in so doing, avoid puncturing. It was easier said than done, as the routes were becoming increasingly ripped up, with rocks being pulled onto the roads by the cars every time they went by. With the rally entering its 14th stage, victory was all but assured for Leroy Poulter and Richard Leek. Just the 3.1 kilometre final stage remained as a potential stumbling block. On the final stage of the Heidelberg Rally, Leroy Poulter and the Toyota Team Yaris claimed his 9th stage win from a possible 14. Behind Poulter on the stage and on the overall timesheets was Ernie van der Walt in his Yaris. And claiming the final step on the S2000 podium with a steady drive was Tiens Hubert, also competing in a Toyota. Richard Leek secured victory in the Heidelberg Rally with a stage win over Ashley Haig-Smith. It was the 5th time the Ford claimed stage honours. Haig-Smith capped a steady but unspectacular rally with a 2nd position on stage 14, hopefully signalling a return to competitive form ahead of the Toyota Cape Dealer Rally. Aser Potgieter closed out the top 3 on the stage and was left considering what might have been had it not been for his role on stage 10. The podium celebration was an emotional moment for Richard Leek, as it's his first South African National Rally Championship victory.
Before the rally we decided we were going to push really hard. We really wanted to fight for that first win. It didn't start according to plan. We started off a bit slow, but we ended off very nicely last night and today just topped it off.
Joining him on the podium was his co-driver Henry Kierner, the 2nd place duo of Guy Bottrell and Simon Vasey-Lyle, and the 3rd place team of Chris Kutzer and Greg Godrich.
It hasn't really sunk in yet, but I'm sure it will later on, but I'm really happy.
Leroy Poulter and co-driver Elvian Kutsia claimed the top step of the podium for the 5th time this season. Joining them on the podium were Ernie van der Walt and Gerard Snyman in 2nd, and podium newcomers Tiens Hubert and Marie van der Walt in 3rd.
You know, the rally for us, this is a new one, and it was a perfect rally. We led the first day all the way and came into the second day and had a nice clean run and basically won all the stages, and really good for the championship to have this one and to win this event.
After 14 tough stages, this is how the Heidelberg Rally's leaderboard panned out, with Poulter and Leek topping the charts. With 2 rallies left on the 2016 South African National Rally Championship calendar, both Poulter and Bottrell hold virtually unassailable leads. The Heidelberg Rally proved, on reflection, to be one of the most dramatic of the season. The Toyota Works team domination was broken by a savage rock just off the road, and the seemingly invincible Guy Bottrell was knocked from the top of the S1600 leaderboard for the first time in the season. The results bode well for a competitive Toyota Cape Dealer Rally on the 16th and 17th of September. The big question is whether Poulter and Bottrell will wrap up their respective championships in the Cape, or whether the winners will be determined at the final event early in November.